If you grew up in the 2000s, you probably remember Fairly OddParents, a show about Timmy Turner, his fairy godparents, Cosmo and Wanda, and the wild wishes that always seemed to spiral out of control. Most episodes were light-hearted chaos, with everything returning to normal by the end. But there's a story that's been whispered about online, a story that never made it to TV. Fans call it Wish Gone Wrong, and those who claim to know the truth say it's the one episode that was never meant to be found. I first heard about it from a friend who was deep into lost media forums. He told me that Wish Gone Wrong was more than just a rumor. According to him, it was a real episode, created during the show's early seasons, but pulled before it ever aired. The story goes that the episode was discovered on an old hard drive, hidden in a folder marked "Do Not Open." Only a handful of people have ever seen it, and those who have say it's nothing like the rest of the series. The episode supposedly starts like any other. Timmy is having a rough day. Vicky is being extra cruel. His parents are clueless, and even his friends seem distant. He wishes for a world where nothing can ever go wrong, where every wish is perfect and nothing bad ever happens. Cosmo and Wanda hesitate, but Timmy insists, and with a wave of their wands, the world changes. At first, everything seems great. The animation is a little off, the colors slightly muted, but Timmy's life is perfect. Vicky is nice, his parents are attentive, and every wish he makes comes true exactly as he wants. But as the episode goes on, things start to feel strange. The world is too perfect. Everyone smiles all the time. The sky is always the same shade of blue, and there's a constant low hum in the background that never goes away. Timmy starts to notice that people repeat the same phrases over and over, their voices flat and emotionless. Cosmo and Wanda seem distant, their eyes dull, their magic slower than usual. Timmy tries to wish for something different, but the wishes don't work. The world stays exactly the same, no matter what he asks for. The hum grows louder, and the colors become more washed out. Eventually, Timmy realizes he's trapped in his own wish. He runs through the empty streets, calling for Cosmo and Wanda, but they don't answer. The familiar music is gone, replaced by the hum that's been building since the episode began. Timmy finds himself back in his room, the door locked, the windows covered in static. He looks in the mirror and sees his own face, but his eyes are empty, his mouth frozen in a smile he can't control. The screen lingers on Timmy's reflection, his forced smile twitching as the hum grows almost unbearable. He tries to call out, but his voice is muffled, as if he's underwater. The camera pans around his room. His toys are perfectly arranged. His goldfish bowl is spotless, but everything feels wrong. The colors are faded, the shadows too deep. Timmy bangs on the door, begging to be let out, but no one comes. The only response is the echo of his own voice, distorted and distant. Suddenly Cosmo and Wanda appear, but they're not themselves. Their wands spark weakly, and their eyes are wide and glassy. Wanda tries to speak, but her words come out as static. Cosmo floats in circles, repeating, "Everything's perfect, everything's perfect," over and over. Timmy pleads with them to undo the wish, but they just stare at him, their smiles stretched too wide. Timmy runs to the window and tries to open it, but the glass won't budge. Outside, the world is frozen. Neighbors stand motionless in their yards, birds hang in the air, and the sun never moves in the sky. The hum is louder now, vibrating through the walls. Timmy covers his ears, but it doesn't help. He screams for help, but the sound is swallowed by the static. The episode cuts to a series of quick, jarring flashes. Timmy running through empty streets. Cosmo and Wanda floating behind him, their faces blank. The world around him starts to glitch. Colors flickering, buildings warping and melting. Timmy finds himself back in his room, no matter where he tries to go. The hum is deafening, and the screen flickers with static. According to the legend, the episode doesn't end there. Some people claim that if you keep watching, you'll see Timmy's face on the TV screen, his eyes pleading for help. Others say the screen flickers one last time, showing a single frame of Timmy standing alone in the static, his smile finally breaking as a tear rolls down his cheek. The credits roll in silence with no music, just the low hum that's been building since the beginning. I tried to find proof of wish gone wrong, a clip, a screenshot, anything. But every time I got close, the trail went cold. Lost media forums are filled with people searching for the episode, trading stories and theories. But no one has ever produced a full recording. Some claim to have found old hard drives at garage sales or in thrift stores. But the footage is always corrupted, the audio warped and filled with static. Others say the episode is cursed, that anyone who watches it is plagued by nightmares of empty rooms and forced smiles. I kept searching, hoping to find someone who could confirm the story, or at least explain where it came from. I messaged old animators, scoured fan forums, and even reached out to people who claimed to have worked on Fairly OddParents in the early days. Most never replied, or just laughed off my questions. But one night, I got an anonymous email. The subject line was blank, and the message was short. Some wishes are better left ungranted. Attached was a single image, a blurry screenshot of Timmy in his room, his face half lit by the glow of the static-filled window. The quality was terrible, but I recognized the scene from the stories. In the background, Cosmo and Wanda floated behind him, their faces blank, their eyes wide and empty. I stared at the image for a long time, feeling a chill run down my spine. Was it real, or just a clever fake? I couldn't tell, but I saved it anyway. After that, the dreams started. I'd find myself trapped in Timmy's room, the walls humming, the door locked. I'd hear Cosmo and Wanda whispering, their voices warped and distant, repeating, "Everything's perfect, everything's perfect." Sometimes, I'd see Timmy at the window, his smile frozen, his eyes pleading for help. Other times, I'd see the world outside, frozen in place, the sun never moving, the neighbors staring straight ahead with empty eyes. I'd wake up sweating, the sound of the hum still ringing in my ears. I stopped searching for the episode after that. Every time I thought about it, I'd feel a wave of unease, as if something was warning me to leave it alone. But the story kept spreading. More people posted about their own experiences, strange dreams, corrupted files, TVs turning on by themselves late at night, always to a screen filled with static and the faint sound of the hum. Some fans started to believe that Wish Gone Wrong wasn't just a lost episode, but a kind of curse, a story that infects anyone who hears about it, making them see things that aren't there, dream things they can't explain. Others said it was a metaphor for the dangers of wanting too much, a way for the show's creators to explore the dark side of wishes. But no one could explain the details that kept cropping up. The static, the frozen world, the sense that something was watching from the shadows. Now, whenever I see an old Fairly OddParents rerun, I feel a little uneasy. I remember the stories, the image in that email, the dreams that still haunt me. And I wonder if the episode is still out there, waiting for someone new to find it. I wish I could say the nightmares faded, that the story of Wish Gone Wrong eventually became just another creepy internet rumor. But the truth is, it's always there, lurking in the back of my mind. Sometimes, when I'm alone in a quiet room, I'll hear the faint hum of static, or the echo of Timmy's voice calling for Cosmo and Wanda. I'll turn on the TV late at night and find the screen flickering, and for a split second, I'll see Timmy's room, the window glowing with static, Cosmo and Wanda floating in the background, their faces blank. I've learned to live with it, in a way. I don't talk about the episode anymore, and I avoid anything to do with lost media, but every so often someone will bring it up. A friend, a stranger online, even a random post on social media. The details are always the same. The lost episode, the static, the frozen world, the sense that something is watching from the shadows. And every time, I feel that old fear creeping back in, cold and sharp as the sound of a wish gone wrong. Some people say the episode is still out there, hidden on an old hard drive in someone's attic, or buried deep in the archives of a forgotten server. Others believe it's just a story, a cautionary tale about the things we wish for and the consequences we can't predict. But those of us who've seen the images, who've heard the hum in the dark, know better. We know that some stories have a way of sticking with you, of changing the way you see the world. Now, whenever I see Timmy on TV, I hesitate before watching. I remember the static, the frozen smiles, the way Timmy's eyes seem to plead for help. I wonder if the episode is still waiting for someone new to find it, someone new to carry the story forward. And I wonder if somewhere out there, Timmy is still trapped in that room, wishing for a way out, his fairy godparents powerless to help. So if you ever hear about Wish Gone Wrong, or find yourself tempted to search for lost episodes late at night, remember my story. Some things are better left lost, some episodes are better left unwatched, and some wishes, no matter how much you want them, are better left ungranted. Because once you've heard the hum, once you've seen those empty eyes in the static, you'll never look at Fairly OddParents or your own wishes the same way again. I still get messages from people who stumble across the legend for the first time. They always start the same way. Curiosity, a little skepticism, maybe even a joke about how a cartoon could be so unsettling. But after a while, the tone changes. They ask if I've ever really seen the episode, if the dreams ever stop, if the feeling of being watched ever goes away. I never know what to tell them. I want to say it's all just a story, that it can't hurt you if you don't believe in it. But I know better. Sometimes, I wonder if the episode is more than just a lost piece of animation. Maybe it's a kind of test, a way to see who's willing to look too closely, to dig too deep. Maybe it's a warning, a reminder that some things are meant to stay hidden. Or maybe it's just a story that got out of control, spreading from one person to the next, growing darker and more twisted with every retelling. But every so often I'll hear from someone who claims they've found a copy, an old hard drive, a corrupted file, a link that only works once before disappearing forever. They always say the same thing. The episode is worse than they imagined. The colors are wrong, the sounds are distorted, and Timmy's eyes haunt their dreams for weeks afterward. Some say they can't watch Fairly OddParents anymore, that the theme song makes them uneasy. Others say they hear a faint hum of static when they turn off the TV at night. I try not to think about it too much. I keep my lights on, my curtains closed, and my TV unplugged when I'm not using it. I avoid lost media forums, and I don't go looking for stories about cursed episodes. But the legend of Wish Gone Wrong is always there, waiting in the background, a shadow at the edge of my vision. If you're reading this, maybe you're curious too. Maybe you think it's just a story, something to laugh about with your friends. But if you ever find yourself alone at night, with the sound of static in your ears and the feeling that someone is watching you from the dark, remember what I've told you. Some episodes are better left lost. Some stories are better left untold. And if you ever see Timmy standing alone in a room filled with static, his eyes wide and empty, Cosmo and Wanda floating behind him, turn off the TV. Walk away. Don't look back. Because in Wish Gone Wrong, the real nightmare isn't what you see on the screen. It's what follows you when the episode ends. I wish I could say there's a way to break the spell, to shake off the feeling that Wish Gone Wrong leaves behind. But the truth is, once you know the story, it's hard to forget. It lingers in the quiet moments, in the flicker of a screen, in the uneasy silence that settles just before you fall asleep. I've learned to live with it, to keep my distance from old cartoons and lost media, but the memory is always there, waiting. Sometimes I'll catch myself glancing at the TV, half expecting to see Timmy's eyes staring back at me from the static. Other times, I'll hear a faint hum, like the one that filled the background of that episode, and I'll freeze, heart pounding, until I convince myself it's just the refrigerator or the pipes in the wall. But deep down, I know better. I know that some stories have a way of reaching out, of finding you no matter how far you run. I've talked to others who feel the same. Some have tried to track down the episode, convinced that if they can just see it for themselves, the mystery will finally make sense. But every time, the trail goes cold. The files are corrupted. The hard drives are blank. The links disappear as soon as you click them. It's as if the episode doesn't want to be found. Or maybe as if it's waiting for the right person to find it. So if you ever hear about Wish Gone Wrong, or if you find yourself drawn to stories about lost episodes and hidden secrets, remember this. Curiosity can be dangerous. Some things are better left alone, no matter how tempting they seem. And if you ever see a flash of static and a pair of wide, empty eyes in the corner of your screen, don't look too closely. Don't listen to the hum. Don't try to remember the details, because some episodes aren't just stories. Some episodes are warnings. And some nightmares, once they find you, never really let you go. So turn off the TV, close your laptop, and let the story fade. Trust me, there are some secrets you don't want to uncover, and Wish Gone Wrong is one of them.